Welcome to Talking About Sports. Kevin Casey and beautiful Concord, North Carolina at the golf club. We're off this week. It's 4th of July. We're celebrating America. So should you. As you can see, we're not at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill, and I miss that place because I love the pretzel with the cheese sauce. The wings, they're awesome.
So, which is my gimmick. And then the wings. Now, Mike mentioned the wings, and of course they go down to Reds.
Everything on this table is banging. But those nachos, you talking about the real deal? That's the real deal down there.
We're going to have to go a full timeout because this stuff is too good to pass up.
So all my guys have abandoned me. You know, Reggie's probably up in Penn State getting a statue dedicated. A thinker, Heisman, peddling DB style like Captain Munnerlyn. Maybe they're going to put the Reggie Walker statue near the cafeteria. Man, the way he tears up those nachos. Chico could be up in Boston watching the Pops. No, I think the more I think about it, I think Pacheco's probably gone down to the concession stand, got him a Gouda mac and cheese dog. Where is John Tobias? Is he in the library? Our library's open this 4th of July. I bet he dissed me for some chess tournament somewhere. Maybe they're squirrel hunting in Arkansas somewhere for all I know. But now, a lot of you have been asking, how do we catch up? What's been going on? We're gonna catch you up to date on Talking About Sports. We're talking about sports, man. Here's the best of Talking About Sports.
Kevin Casey here, and this is Talking About Sports, the Carolina's own. It's your podcast where we talk about sports. Let me introduce our all-star panel here. From the NFL, Reggie Walker.
Flip mode's the greatest.
Flip mode. All right, Busta Bus.
Busta Rhymes up in the place.
Split Star.
The voice of Winthrop Athletics, Charlotte Knights broadcaster, and Carolina Panthers postgame show co-host Mike Pacheco, and our stats guru, John Tobias, JT. Gentlemen, welcome. Busy day here in sports, rock the sports world, or at least the Charlotte sports world, rocked by the sudden acquisition of Dwight Howard by the Charlotte Hornets. Reds, let's start with you. What do you think of Superman? Let's say a taller Superman, but maybe an older Superman coming to the Queen City.
Well, I'm gonna go with his latter nickname and go with Dwightmare. Makes his way to Charlotte. But I think this is actually, when you look at the totality of the trade, I think this is actually a good trade for the Hornets. They shed a year off of a not great contract in Plumlee. They move up 10 spots in the draft. So and it's a guy that they sort of need. They need a big presence around the rim that people are somewhat deterred by. We don't know what Dwight Howard's going to be at this point in his career, but the guy did put up a double-double last year. So I think it's actually a good trade.
He's one of 6 centers in NBA history to have average a double-double in their first 13 seasons, and he's up with the names of Moses Malone and Will Chamberlain.
Well, does that mean
Bill
he's
Russell.
old if he's putting that up for 13 years?
Well, no, but it shows a consistency. I mean, to do a double-double every year. Now, granted, the last couple of years, I think health has been an issue as to whether he hasn't played 82 full games. Last year it was 74 games with the Atlanta Hawks, and you are getting a guy on the downside of his career. But when you look at Steve Clifford's system, he's a guy that likes the pick and roll game, which we know Dwight Howard can do that, and they want a rim protector at the back of that defense, and he can do that. So I think this is also a signal that the Hornets really feel like they have a window right now to try and get something done.
This is Talking About Sports, your podcast that features nothing but the best in Carolina's sports talk. No politics here. We're all fun. We're all sports. All-star panel here as always. Let's bring in John Tobias, JT, our stats guru here, and Reg in a different spot, Reg. And Mike Pacheco is on assignment from BB&T Field, and he's going to go in-depth on some of the great things that are happening with the Charlotte Knights, their menu, what's going on, USA versus Cuba, and a whole lot of good stuff talking about baseball. But we start, like we did last week, we will start out with breaking news again from the NBA. Chris Paul traded from the Los Angeles Clippers to the Houston Rockets. JT, this was somewhat surprising, yet not so surprising.
A huge game changer. Chris Paul, without a doubt, is easily one of the best point guards in the league, if not one of the best point guards ever, without question. And I guess just to put in perspective, Reg, in terms of the magnitude of Chris Paul, his first 6 years since he's been with the Clippers, they have been to the playoffs every single year. Prior to that, the 27 years that they were in existence, they only went to the playoffs 4 times. So he's definitely a game changer.
Well, the funny thing about changing the game, if you will, is he was supposed to be a Laker. And the game got changed, and he ended up being a Clipper, and obviously changed the fortunes of that franchise. To me, I look at this trade in 2 different veins, neither of which I think the rest of the world may be paying attention to right now. I look at from the first standpoint, he and James Harden are both guys that kind of need the ball to be the playmakers that they are. So that's going to kind of be interesting. But more importantly, this trade tells me that where the league is going and that a lot of players have realized how much power they have, and they're starting to flex that muscle a lot more.
I have studied this. I have thought about this for a long time.
Called baseball for many years.
Yes, I've called baseball for many years. Been in sports for over 20 years. If by me saying a no-hitter is about to be thrown has that much weight, then I would be sitting on a beach in Tahiti right now because I would have won the Powerball like 6 times.
Yes.
It is funny, it is fun, and there are some times where you do say something, all of a sudden the announcer jinx plays out. But I just think it's the coincidence, the normal part of a game, especially the later you get into a game. I mean, if you get into the 7th inning and you start talking about a no-hitter, a guy's arm could be dragging, he could be tipping his pitches a little bit. I mean, there's so many things that have to go right in a no-hitter. And for the announcers to mention it or not mention it to be a factor, I think is silly.
Well, Mike, I wonder if our mutual friend Dave Jagler is mentioning that with Max Scherzer and the Washington Nationals, who right now are in the 8th inning, and he is not allowed a hit so far. You think our buddy Jags has brought that up?
Well, I know this. There are some people that feel like it's bad form to talk about a no-hitter until like the 6th inning, just because the fact is, if a lot of guys can go 5 innings without a hit, it becomes more of a feat if you can do that between the 6th innings and the completion of a no-hitter.
You've done nothing until you went through the lineup twice.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't. Until you get through that lineup twice, I don't care.
Yeah.
So my question to you, Mike, since you're the baseball guru of the bunch, do you think that out of all of the sports, that baseball is the most superstitious out of all of the sports?
Absolutely it is.
Without question. Probably not even a close second.
Not even a close
They
second.
got too many unwritten rules, too, man.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
The unwritten rules. I'll tell you, one of my favorite superstition stories was in the minor leagues. We were on it was in Cannopolis. We had a 7-game losing streak.
Oh, boy.
And the manager said, I got to do something to change our luck. So we were in Ohio. So we had everybody turn around and walk off the bus backwards. We lost the game 7-2.
I'd rather just called Mark Grace and got a slump buster involved.
Yeah, pretty much. Be done with that.
What about, and our Mike and I used to work with Dave Jagler here in Charlotte Radio. Don't touch his water bottle or his headphones. That's the that was his superstition, one of them. What's your superstition? What'd you do when you're playing for Penn State?
Don't talk to me. That was my thing. It was when it's game day, when I wake up in the morning, I don't talk. I was the same way in high school. Don't talk to me. I'll never forget, I was a junior in high school, and a freshman walked up to me and started talking to me, and I just gave him a look, and then he tried it again, and he almost went out the bus window. Don't talk to me as I'm preparing for a game. That's my big one.
Not even our buddy E.Z. Smith IV from Concord?
Nope.
He didn't say nothing?
Z didn't say nothing to me, and you know what? I didn't say anything to Z either because I didn't want to make him mad either.
He's a big man.
Yes, sir.
Still is.
No, when at Merrimack, I would wear the same T-shirt under my pads game day, and I would put the pads in the thigh pads, and I would put them in the same order.
Yes. I had that one too.
Yeah.
I was a little bit like that too.
Yeah.
With the shirt, I mean the shirt.
Yeah.
JT, what'd you do on all those chess tournaments you played in?
Nice.
Oh,
wow. Like I'm Carlton or somebody from the Fresh Prince. I mean, what's up?
He fired that shot.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I can't give you
Would you play
superstition
badminton? I mean, what
from a
was
college standpoint, but like, are we talking life superstitions?
life, sports, whatever.
And I know that I drive my girlfriend crazy because I have a lot of weird superstitions, like at the house. One thing is that if I'm watching a game, of course, I'm a big Steeler fan. Even though I've been working in the media for a long time, that's the one team that I ride with. So if they're doing really, really well, and I'm like in a certain position, like on the couch, like I will not move.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
I know, right? Easy. Yeah, family show.
All right.
Family show. I will not move unless something bad happens, whether it's a turnover, interception, whatever have you. But that's my superstition. I stay in my lane.
When I was watching the VC Rams march to the Final Four in 2011, I had to sit in the same spot on the couch.
Smart.
I had to have the same shirt on.
Same shirt,
And
same
it
spot.
got us to the Final Four.
Hey, listen.
I had nothing to do with it. Jamie Skeen had a lot to do with it.
Hey, Jamie Skeen, good player.
All right.
Really good player. And JT, by the way, as a Steeler guy, very bad joke here, but I've often been told that I look like Mike Tomlin's little brother.
So
I'm gonna just leave
that
that right
means you
there.
look like Omar Epps too, right?
Pretty much. I've got them all.
I saw you on Juice before.
Well, not in juice.
I got a reverse superstition, Kevin. I had a Patriots shirt that I wore twice, and they lost both times. One of them was in the Super Bowl. So that shirt,
You should wear that every day.
If Robert Kraft found out, he'd have flown you up to Foxborough, and he'd have gotten you anything you wanted. I'll guarantee it, because whatever they're doing in New England, they're doing it right.
Yes, sir.
All right, hey, this is great stuff. This is Talking About Sports live from the Dilworth Grill. We'll be right back. What about guys like Jason Tatum, Luke Kennard, Harry Giles, Frank Johnson? These guys, North Carolina connections or Carolina's connections, they're going to different locations. You got what are they? What kind of impact? I like Tatum with the Celtics. I was kind of hoping Harry Giles would have gone to my San Antonio Spurs, but I'm out of luck.
The Kings cleaned up with Carolina guys. To me, to get Justin Jackson and Harry Giles, where they got them both, I think that's going to really help that franchise.
JT, that was a good trade. They traded, 10 for 15 and 20?
Yes, yeah, and the thing about it is that one thing that obviously the Kings need a lot of work, but they need a lot of depth in all the positions, because at the point guard position, you with De'Aaron Fox, Ty Lawson's unrestricted free agent, Darren Collinson's unrestricted free agent. They were able to go and upgrade with De'Aaron Fox. Justin Jackson, Rudy Gay is opting out of his contract, so in other words, you have 3 positions where he can slide in.
I think they need to clean house in Sacramento.
They do, but also they bring good energy, and just like we were talking about last week with Harry Giles, people that were privileged to see Harry Giles play in high school, like Reg and myself, he is the best high school player that I've ever seen in person play. If he were to come back and somewhat resemble and get that explosiveness back, I think that they could have a steal in the draft for sure.
Well, that's a great segment, guys, and when we come back, we're going to bring on our special guest, the host of the Clothier Classic, my good friend and yours, William Wilson. We'll be right back.
Train wreck. Kevin, train wreck.
That's a Jacques Cousteau shot, because we're going to have to hire Jacques Cousteau to go deep sea diving and get my ball.
No, I'm just joking. Kev, that's my boy. That's my buddy. Kevin Casey, man, he's probably 270 pounds and it's all heart. He's just a good dude. Golf game could use a whole lot of work, though.
Welcome back to Talking About Sports. Kevin Casey, JT Reg, and let's bring in our special guest. We've teased him. We've seen him on the show a couple of times. Our good friend from the Clothier Classic, designer to the stars, philanthropist, Navy veteran, William Wilson. And thank you for ripping me with, I'm not saying your reporting is inaccurate. That's not fake news. It's truth in your reporting. But it's still, I was kind of out of bounds and down, and you still found a way to hit me when I was down there. It's nice, nice as you are to me.
I got to hit you when you down.
I don't know, man. And you did, and you pulled a Steve Harvey on us. I thought my team won, not just for me, but I had guys like Brevin Knight on my team. I thought we won, and then you pulled the wool out from under us at the last second, and you didn't hit a shot for our group. I know you're hitting shots for everybody else. You just didn't hit one for us.
See, like a true champion, William comes in and lets you know that he's in control, the NASCAR champ that he is.
Oh, yeah.
He comes in spitting bars like a true champ.
What time is it? What time is it? Get ready for a new experience. We're talking about sports on ADSN.
This is kind of the nitty-gritty where they're doing all the dirty work and getting ready for the season.
So let's just put that out there to begin with.
I was wondering if a bowl of soup came with that hat that you were wearing.
I got some shorts of it now.
Welcome back to Talking About Sports. We're here at the Dilworth Grill here in, I would call this Uptown Charlotte. A great family venue, good food. We're glad that we're here, and also glad that Steph Curry is from here, and he is celebrating his second NBA championship with a super team, as we pointed out. Where would you put Steph Curry? He's getting ready to get paid very big dollars, so and has earned them. So where you put him in the pantheon of the NBA hierarchy?
I think he's one of the top probably 3 or 4 point guards in the league right now. I mean, guys can argue different things different ways. I'm sure people will put Kyrie Irving in that conversation. Some people still love Chris Paul, and they put him in that conversation. And I'm not going to sit here and try to argue a lot of those guys down, but I think Steph is probably one of the top 2 or 3 point guards in the league. One of the better, obviously probably the best pure shooter out of all of them. One of the better pure scorers, and from my opinion, an improved defender, which is something that I enjoy about his game right now.
Well, he won 2 MVPs, as Mike is probably going to point out.
And he's also a guy that just fits in well with what they want to do.
Yes.
With that mentality of how Golden State wants to play, he's a great fit. And you could put Kyrie Irving in that team, and they probably would still win. But they're a different dynamic with him in there.
Yes.
And that's not like you said. It's not ripping a guy for no reason. It's not an insult. It's not a bad thing. But it's just he's a good fit for what they want to do.
Steph silenced a lot of critics with this last playoff, and the reason why is because a lot of people said that he was not a big-time player in the NBA Finals. 2 years ago, he averaged 26 points a game, but yet Iguodala got the Finals MVP. Last year, he was clearly outplayed by Kyrie Irving, averaged 22. This year, he averaged 27, 8, and 9.
But last year, I wouldn't say he was 100% healthy in the finals last year.
Oh, by the way, he still didn't get the Finals MVP this year either.
And that says a lot about KD, right?
Which is a message. I mean, listen, that means this guy does what listen, it's one thing to be the guy, it's one thing to be a winner. And what this tells you is when the lights are the brightest in the NBA Finals, Steph figures out how to win instead of worrying about his numbers.
It'd be the interesting thing if you took the Warriors and you match them up, take any 7 or 8 All-Stars and play against the Warriors in a 7-game series, who would win?
Let me tell you something. The thing I like about Golden State is even their backups, even the guys like the Ian Clarks, the Patrick McCalls, those guys come in and they play valuable minutes in close games in the playoffs. That tells you that Steve Kerr trusts those guys to be who they are, not try to do too much, just play their game. And that's huge.
What about as we transition from Steph Curry, who was not even the top player picked in his draft? I think he was around like 7 or so. Where are we going to look at the draft? Who were some of the top guys out of the North Carolina schools? And where anybody know where the NBA draft is being held?
Barclays Center.
Okay.
Yeah, Brooklyn.
Why is that?
Yeah. So 3 guys know, Kevin.
Okay, well, I'm glad. I'm asking the audience. I know you guys.
He already knew that was a test.
But did they just pay? They just paid the highest bid to get it? Can Charlotte host an NBA draft like they did when Tim Duncan went number overall to the San Antonio Spurs?
Listen, to me, this whole draft moving around thing, whatever. I mean, it doesn't. I don't see what anyone gets out of it. To me, you do it near the league office, wherever you can, and keep it moving. But all these leagues, they want to sell tickets to see people walk up to a stage and take a picture with a suit on.
Right.
If people want to buy that ticket, enjoy, but I'm not doing it.
Well, and it's also, and we're going to. I know we'll talk about this a little bit later about something else. I'll kind of leave that tease out there, but everything now is becoming a made-for-TV event.
Yes.
The draft continually has been that, and now it's an opportunity, like you said, to go from just making it the TV event to packaging it with social media, and now you're making it an event. So now, instead of just being a draft, in the back room with guys smoking cigars, picking guys, now it's worldwide, and it's a multimedia event.
I guess to piggyback to the original question in terms of how do we think that guys will do from the Carolinas, I think that they're going to do fairly well. I think it's potentially 5 guys that can be drafted in the lottery. You have the 3 guys from Duke. You have Luke Kennard, Jason Tatum, Harry Giles. You have Justin Jackson from Carolina. That's possible. And also you have Dennis Smith Jr.
Yep.
So I think that the Carolinas are representing themselves really, really well.
We just had a good team that whole season, but we had a really solid team, the whole 3 years I was there with them. But you never in NASCAR, you never really know you got a championship locked up, because anything can happen. Unlike football and baseball, when you play one team at a time, you play the entire league at one time. So
Every week.
Exactly.
One lap at a time sometimes. 2
years earlier, we had great pit stops, got Ted out in first place, he spun the tires, and we lost the championship by like 4/100ths of a second. So it all came down literally to one last restart, last race, last track. So you never really know.
I've seen the videos from his place. There's the racks of hundreds of suits and clothes. He didn't just move up like George Jefferson. He lives in the penthouse above George Jefferson now.
George and Wheezy.
Our good friend and our colleague Mike Pacheco is one of the Charlotte Knights broadcasters. He's out at BB&T, and knowing Mike, he's probably around the concession stand and looking into all the good things to eat. But he also has an update on what all the great things that are happening with the Charlotte Knights, BB&T Ballpark. We have 4th of July, USA versus Cuba coming up. Let's throw it out to our good friend Mike Pacheco.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much. But let's be honest. You guys want to get to the Buffalo Blue Chips. You want to get to the wings. So we'll talk a little bit of baseball while you guys are hunkered down and eating the great food there at Dilworth Neighborhood Grill. So the Knights are going to be home through Monday. And then, of course, the July 4th will be on that coming Tuesday. So it's going to be a pretty good homestand for the Knights. When you look at what's going on in the International League, right now the Durham Bulls, pretty much the team in the IL South to worry about. There's a pretty good battle in the IL North where you have the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders and the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs duking it out. And then, of course, in the West, you have the Indianapolis Indians and the Columbus Clippers. And the manager for the Clippers last year, Chris Tremmy, was the manager for the International League in the All-Star game last year. So it's pretty cool to have him back in town. Then the Gwinnett Braves will fill out the back end of this homestand. We mentioned they'll be here until Monday. And then July 4th, the Knights won't be here. They'll be on the road, but Team USA will be here against Cuba. So how cool is that going to be to see Team USA right here for the second time in 3 years playing against Cuba right here at BB&T Ballpark? Of course, it'll be Sky Show with WBT, fireworks extravaganza, one of the best in the Southeast. So a lot of fun things going on here at BB&T Ballpark. Another thing that's coming up, that'll be coming up in July. For one day, on July 15th, the Charlotte Knights will become the Charlotte Pitmasters. And we have some gear here to show you about the classic lid. This comes in two forms, not just the fitted cap, but also comes in the adjustable. And then two different types of jerseys. This one is going to look most like what the team jersey you're going to wear. That's going to be white. This, of course, is a gray shirt. And then selling like hotcakes in the team store is this variety. So a lot of great gear, a lot of great things coming up here at BB&T Ballpark. And what a great summer for baseball. When you look at the big league level, what's going on in the AL East, you have the Red Sox and Yankees battling. For me, that's the greatest thing about baseball is when you have the traditional rivalries going. And how about the Cubs? They're still hanging around in the NL Central with the Milwaukee Brewers, one of the surprise clubs. And, of course, the Arizona Diamondbacks are really surprising people this year as well. The Astros in the American League and the Brewers in the National League. So breaks up, guys. You got to put down those nachos, the steak nachos. You got to put down the wings, the quesadillas, because we're throwing it back to you.
Now, Mike Pacheco can eat his heart out. He did mention the steak nachos, and they're right here. And he mentioned the pretzel, which is my gimmick, and then the wings. Now, Mike mentioned the wings, and of course they go down to Red's because I saw him last week after the show. He took that down in about 10 minutes, in about 10 seconds.
I'll tell you something. Everything on this table is banging, but those nachos, you talking about the real deal? That's the real deal down there.
Potato chips too,
and the blue cheese. Chips, with the blue cheese. Yeah, that's
we're gonna have to call it not more than 20. We're gonna have to go a full timeout because this stuff is too good to pass up. We'll be right back talking about sports from the Dilworth Grill.
Is 18. If you graduate high school, can you go straight to the pros? Bryce Harper in baseball graduated high school a year early, got a GED, and went to some JUCO.
Bombs in Vegas.
Okay, but seriously, what about? Can a guy, if he's good enough, get there, or are they protecting the teams protecting themselves from guys who are future busts in the league, or do you have to go to Europe? Do you have to go to, or is there like in the NFL 3 years, 2 years, 20, 21 years old? You got to be able to vote?
I don't think they're protecting anything. I think actually in a lot of ways because of the way college basketball is with these guys, they just let these guys come in and give them the ball and let them do whatever they want. So I think they're actually protecting themselves even less because they look at him and they think, oh, he just put up 20 on his college team. That'll translate. Well, it's a different world in the NBA. What I think they should do, I say let them come out of high school, but this is what I would do. I would raise the age limit in the D League to 20, and then say if you come out of high school and you are not on an active, not one of the three guys sitting at the end of the bench in a suit, you need to be an active player on an NBA team when the season starts, or there isn't.
But can the D League be a factor, saying, okay, we're going to draft you, but we're going to stash you on the D League for a year or two because we think you have a tremendous amount of upside?
The NBA won't put enough into their minor league. I guess my point in saying this is, if they want to come out early, let them come out early. But we have to stop giving everybody this humongous cushion, this easy landing spot, this golden parachute. Make them learn how to make an educated decision, talk to the right people, and figure out if they're ready. And if they're not, the consequence is they got to go somewhere else, not the NBA or not the D-League.
Mike, I think the key is non-guaranteed contracts like the NFL. You start not guaranteeing those contracts, I think maybe a lot of guys may want to think about going pro.
Well, there are a lot of issues going on here, and to what Reggie's talking about, it's life's not fair. So the cream of the crop will rise. Now, the issue that a lot of the teams are having, and I talked to a scout actually about this not too long ago, the NBA teams would rather get the kids at 18 because coaches being the way coaches are, they want to be able to put in the systems that they want to put into. They want to do the skill development with those players and not trust it on somebody else. So that's why I think sometimes you would say, well, why doesn't the NBA want these guys to go 3 years or 4 years of college? And I think part of that's because they might feel like a kid might get screwed up going to a college, whereas if they had him for those 3 or 4 years, that player might be further along at 21 in the program for 3 or 4 years than coming in from a college.
I think that the process right now is a little archaic and antiquated. I think that if they do have it to where, if they're going to change it, have it to where a person can go out of high school. And like you said, life isn't fair because if they go out of high school and let's say they're a bust, I mean, who's to say that they cannot, go back to school and earn their degree? It's not like, once when you become a bust, you cannot go back to college. You can always do that.
You just can't play.
You just can't ball.
And
the second thing, real quick, the second thing is that if they choose to stay in school, I say let it be 2 years. I think it would help the college game, and I definitely think it would help the NBA game because there was a point, especially when we were younger, to where we would get used to like college teams in terms, okay, this person's coming back their sophomore year, their junior year. Now you don't really get used to any team now because all of the great college players are in the NBA.
Sometimes the tailors forget it's about the players, not about them. So they'll come out with all these crazy things that just look ridiculous. Some guys look really, really good, look very professional, look like they're ready to go to work. But sometimes you really see the personality of that player, who they're going to be in the league when they walk across that stage. If they're all flashing the pants, it's all about them, look what I got, look at me, look at me, look at me, they're going to play that way. That's who they are.
Yeah.
But you get that guy who looks like they're ready to come to work. They got a suit on because it's appropriate, they're properly dressed, they have, their diction, they articulate themselves well, they carry themselves like professionals. They'll tend to carry themselves professionally on the teams that they're playing in, regardless of the sport.
Do you like Dwight Howard's suit?
It was cut very well. It was very cool. I'm not into that really short leg look, that almost capri pant look kind of thing, especially in a tuxedo.
You're a boardroom guy.
But, I'm just not so much as boardroom. I think you got to find a happy medium. I don't think you swing the pendulum too far to one side or the other. I think there's a thin line between, they say it's a thin line between love and hate. There's also a thinner line between fashion and a fool.
He sounds like he understands what time it is. He clearly, throughout his life, has paid attention in class because he knows how to talk and present himself. So when you look at him in totality, you add those two things to the fact that we've seen him be explosive on the court, we've seen him knock down shots with regularity, and we've seen him attack the basket. And he's a decent ball handler, pretty good ball handler. He just seems to me like he has a package of things that's going to make him a player that's a force in this league for a long time.
Welcome back to Talking About Sports. I had an opportunity to go out to BB&T Ballpark preseason, talk to Tommy Viola, the PR director of the Charlotte Knights. Tommy V, always getting things done with whatever kind of promotion, brings in wrestling like the late George the Animal Steele, the Hurricane, Shane Helms, a good buddy of mine. He also brings in people like Sergeant Slaughter. He took us kind of behind the scenes of BB&T Ballpark.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the 30th season in Knights franchise history and the 125th season of baseball in Charlotte. We're really excited about, where this ballpark is. We made a lot of improvements this year. We made improvements to our sound system. We made improvements to some of our group areas. We made it more fan-friendly, and that's minor league baseball. Just very fan-friendly. Every Sunday is a family day. Kids can run the bases. A lot of good things. Fridays are fireworks. It's an affordable product. I mean, you can come into this ballpark for $8. You could get a field box ticket and sit down with, as close to the field as you want. We hear so many great things from the fans that, the skyline view is one of the best in baseball. The food and drinks here, I mean, we have an executive chef. We have a Gouda mac and cheese dog. We have some interesting food items that you're not going to get anywhere else. You think about this ballpark overall and from the off-season to the season, there's something going on here almost every night. We hosted the AAA All-Star Game. We hosted the Home Run Derby in years past. We've hosted a national championship here. Those games have sold out for us. You make improvements every year. You're always trying to find the next best thing for the fans so they have a great experience. From the sales crew to our groundskeeper, who is out here probably more than anybody, making sure that this field is in tip-top shape every day so that when these players come out to the field, they have the best possible field they can have. Now with the players we have here, we feel really confident that this is going to be a successful year on the field. Mark Rodzelanek, first-year manager, but here's a guy, a 15-year Major League veteran, hit 289 at the majors. He's our manager this year, and we're really excited to have him and a really good buzz around this team, this city. A lot of these guys that play for the Knights are going to be in the majors someday, and it's exciting to see.
Listen, people have said things, whatever they want to say about Mark Gottfried, his coach at NC State. I'm going to say it simply like this. You're in the NBA, kid. So basically what you told me is every coach that's instructed you defensively your entire life, you've either ignored or you weren't good enough to process the information. So don't come out and tell me you're looking forward to going to learn how to play defense. To me, that's an absolute joke. That's a travesty, and that's not a guy that I would look to be a leader of my franchise.
JT, you talked about the Kings, Harry Giles, Justin Jackson. Is that going to blend well? A Duke and a North Carolina guy getting along with the Kings. Vlade Divac may know what he's doing.
I think that he does, and a lot of times we haven't said the sentence the Kings have drafted well like in a very long time. But I really think that they drafted well, and I really like what they have going on. They have a nice young nucleus. Buddy Hill was first-team All-NBA, so he's pegged in at the shooting guard. Like I said before, you could have Justin Jackson sliding at the 3. Of course, you have De'Aaron Fox, even though he's not a Carolina guy.
Western Conference is tough, though. It's not a place for on-the-job training.
No, but the thing about it is, especially somebody like Harry Giles, you can fly under the radar to where you don't have these over-the-top expectations to where he's expected to, average like a double-double. He can really be in Sacramento, fly under the radar, give him about a year or two to where maybe in another year or so he can perform much better and get his explosiveness back.
My name is William Wilson. I'm the founder of the William Wilson Charitable Foundation. We're ready to kick off the 2017 Columbia Classic at beautiful Carolina Lakes in South Carolina. We're gonna raise some money, have some fun, hopefully not donate too many golf balls to the gods. It's to raise scholarship money for domestic violence survivor scholarship. To be able to provide scholarship money to either go to college, a trade school, a certification program, because not everyone's a matriculating type person. Oh, I got hit another. That can't be it. I lost it. It was either really, really good or it was horrible. Well, you told me to hit that magnificent drive because, so I like to show my skills. I try to play at least one shot with every group, show my appreciation for them coming out here and having a good time. Oh, there you go.
I say I 4 tweets for some free ribs.
I think all tournament hosts should get a driver.
I'm a huge advocate for this cause within itself. And then, put on top of that, he's a great friend.
I tell you what, William Wilson, he puts on a great show every year. And it was a great time, good friends, and, all for a good cause. So we all had a blast out here today.
He's done a lot of good things in the community. I've had a couple of suits made by him that look good on me and get nice compliments. So why not take a day to come out and support him on a beautiful golf course?
All of us have been touched, whether it's in our own homes or we know somebody, we know someone who knows someone. So it's a cause that I believe in, and he's a good dude. And good folks come to this tournament, so we just have a good time.
Jay was nice, man. I saw Jay on that par 3. Jay was pretty nice. He's been out here every year. He's only missed 2 tournaments, so he's been out here 6 times. When I started this tournament, I wanted to be able to have an event that wasn't just about what do we get from it. So here I'm bringing in guys from Hollywood, guys from Sports Center, and guys from the fashion industry, you know, bringing in iconic people in all the different areas so you can appeal to different people.
I got to meet William, and a really good guy, really good opportunity to come help raise some funds to fight against domestic violence, domestic abuse.
William's a good friend, and I was excited to come out here and support everything he's doing, you know, for charity and stuff like that. So we had a great day. We played pretty good, and I look forward to coming back next year.
Oh, went pretty well. Had a good time.
That's always nice.
That's when you know you balling, when you get photobombed by a legend like Jay Harris. That's when you know you're in the right place.
What a great feature that our executive producer, Kevin Tolbert, put together. And I can just tell you from experience, having been there, I went to the party you had the night before, and it was a tremendous experience. I got to meet some really cool people. My man Dominic Santana from All Eyes on Me. I mean, great guy. Great guy, man. Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm meeting all these cool people. And then we get to play golf, and, you know, then I see guys that I've known a long time, Perry Tuttle and people like that I've known a long time. And why do you put this on, and why do you think it's been so well received and so successful?
Well, I think a big part of it is just, I mean, again, you know, growing up seeing my mom a domestic violence survivor, that's why it's something really close to me. And I always want to do something to bring awareness and to give back. But I think it's been so well received because it's different. You know, there's 10, 15 golf tournaments going every Monday in Charlotte. But working in fashion, I've been able to work with celebrities not only in sports, but in music, in movies, on TV shows. So I've been blessed to know I do suits for D.L. Hughley and Eddie Griffin. So I have my network of people. If you're not a sports person, you come out to the party, you may not be a sports person, but you may like movies. So I've got Mark Ralston from Shawshank Redemption, or I've got Brian Krause from Charmed, or I've got, like I said, Dominic Santana from All Eyes on Me, or I got John Luke from Storage Wars, or I got the NFL guys, or I'll have singers. So there's somebody for everybody.
Well, we've talked a lot about Kevin's golf game, and so you don't have to rely on our word. You can see for yourself exactly what transpired at William Wilson's tournament.
Brevin Knight, man, crushing all that good Memphis barbecue he's eating all during the year. Just killing it.
Oh, that's killing it.
My partner, Jamar Nesbitt here, great NFL player. He got us in chipping distance. I think we can still get a par.
You're not feeling my pain, man.
Don't injure himself anymore, so we keep him to more of the short shots, and then he's the guy that gets us going on putting because he putts first, so we know what the line looks like.
Rev straight on. Was it my shirt? Or is it just too tight around the stomach? That's what it is. 150 yards, Jamar Nesbitt. 4 off the house over there. He hit the house over to the right. After hitting the nice guy's house and blaming me off the drive, now he's going to try to putt and give us a birdie here on this hole here. I think it's short.
Well, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Kevin's game here. We got to work on that in-between game, and things will be all right. But I can tell you this much, no shortage of comedy while you're out there.
If I had a house on the golf course, I'd be playing more. Oh. And then somebody came in and started talking.
I'm going to have to make a Skyline chili call to the bullpen here for relief. I think I contributed even though they didn't use any of my shots, but I think I'm here to provide support to keep the guys loose.
Train wreck. Kevin, train wreck.
That's a Jacques Cousteau shot because we're going to have to hire Jacques Cousteau to go deep sea diving to get my ball.
No, I'm just joking. That's my boy. That's my buddy. Kevin Casey, man, he's probably 270 pounds and it's all heart. He's just a good dude. Golf game could use a whole lot of work, though.
He pulled through for a few shots, had a couple nice chips here and there. And the last drive, hey, we could have played it.
There we go. Best drive of the day. I'll take that. I'll take that. Best drive of the day, man.
And the good thing is Kevin never sliced at all during those. Maybe hooked a few, but didn't slice them.
I did both. I did them all. I topped many a ball. That's why I sometimes get a bad back when it's the second shot. I'll tee off, and I'll like the chip and putt. But that second shot, I'm not as good as you, Mike. Nor do I have good enough clubs.
Did you get that hat from Judge Schmelz?
Well, I do.
How'd that happen?
I did get a bowl of soup with that hat, as you pointed out, Mike.
Hey, and you also got to hang out with the actor from All Eyes on Me.
Dominic Santana. Yeah, great guy from who plays Suge Knight in the movie All Eyes on Me.
Did a good job.
He did, yeah. He's a great guy from Fayetteville. Realized as we talked to him that maybe sports wasn't his venue for success. He realized that at an age that going to Hollywood, he had a good look. He had the acting skills, and he's learning along the way as he moves through with his Hollywood career. Because I think this is one of his big breaks. I think he's going to continue to move forward. Dominic Santana is through Hollywood, and we want to thank William Wilson, Mike, as for all the great work that he did, raising awareness to domestic violence and prevention. And he did, I'll say all these great things about him.
Yes.
My good friend, William Wilson. And yet he takes every opportunity he gets to give me cheap shots, hits me out of bounds, hits me low, below the belt, related to my golf game. But he's always taken maybe deserved, Mike, but they're still cheap to me, shots at my golf game.
Well, it's a dual-edged charity. He's raising money for charity, but he's also charitable for having you participate.
I provide comic relief. I keep everybody loose. I'm a good clubhouse guy. All right, well, we've our executive producer, Kevin Tolbert, obviously doctoring some footage here.
I don't know. That's eye in the sky don't lie, man.
I've heard that. I mean, I had a bad back. I still do. I don't have good clubs.
My arm, I broke my arm.
Bad equipment. Locust. Blame it on the equipment.
Yeah, it's an equipment failure. Okay.
I do have, I got to work on that equipment. Just want to say thanks, guys. John Tobias, our stats guy, Mike Pacheco, Reggie Walker. I had a great time. It's our inaugural edition of Talking About Sports here on ADSN. Give us a like on Facebook and Twitter. We're everywhere. It's our debut show, and we don't want it to be the last. Help us, help you. Support us. JT, final word?
It was a great show. Glad to be a part of it. I think you guys are awesome. Let's keep it going.
It's fun. It's been a good time right now. Of course, we're getting into the sports Armageddon when it's just gonna be baseball. So we'll have plenty to talk about as we get ready for football season coming up.
Mike, you couldn't have said it any better. All I got to say is it football season yet?
Well, there you go. For John Tobias, Mike Pacheco, Reggie Walker, I'm Kevin Casey. For Kevin Tolbert, saying so long for now. Look at this. Everything's gone. Hornets have Summer League coming up. A roster announced. Travion Graham, who did have some time on the Charlotte roster, along with Briante Weber, two VCU Rams, my alma mater. So that's good. Looked like, and Malik Monk is injured, so he's not going to be playing, at least not for a while. So it looks like we're going to get a good mix of some guys who are going to be on the team. Some guys are going to be with the Greensboro Swarm. But guys who are just looking to show what they can do, maybe get on somebody's roster.
I'm definitely looking forward to Dwayne Bacon. There was one game to where he had scored 18 straight points. So that goes to show that he can definitely score. And just like what Reg said, I'm definitely looking forward to Anthony Gill. Anthony Gill, of course, went to UVA, energy player. A lot of people may have forgotten, but before that, he played ball at South Carolina with Frank Martin. And also he went to Charlotte Christian, where Seth and Steph Curry went. So he definitely provides a lot of energy, and I really think that he could definitely be like a player to watch.
The ultimate closer for this Summer League roster is going to be William Wilson, because he's going to be making suits for all these guys, especially if they make the active roster.
Only the well-dressed ones.
Yeah, that's right.
Only the well-dressed ones. And they look like garbage. They didn't come through the house of Will.
The house of William. I want to get the blue blazer with the patch on there. That's just me.
Yeah, we can make
guys, everyone's got a price for the $1 Million Man. I heard that one time.
Ted DiBiase.
Great show. We just had a tremendous time here at the Dilworth Family Grill, and just want to thank our all-star panel here, Reggie, John Tobias, and our special guest, William Wilson. Come out here next Wednesday, every Wednesday, 1 o'clock, right here. This is Talking About Sports. Kevin Casey saying so long for now.
We're having a great time. 4th of July week. Happy birthday, America. What a great show. We've caught you up to date on Talking About Sports. We're going to be back at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill. Got all of our great panel. John Tobias, JT, Reggie Walker, William Wilson, Mike Pacheco. Give us a like and a follow, by the way. Lots of stuff going on, and a lot of the dominoes in the NBA have fallen. And what do all these dominoes mean for the Charlotte Hornets? We'll go in depth with them when we have our full panel back next week at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill. So I got to work on my game straight down the middle, just like Talking About Sports right here on ADSN. Something's wrong with these balls here, man. They're just not working on the tee as much as I'd like. I'm actually better than the video shows. If I could steal my title, here's for you, William Wilson. I think I may have to go to the emergency room, but you know what? I'll be back next week on Talking About Sports.